Hi, my name is Adam Cox. I'm also known as the Phobia Guru, and Ailurophobia is what's known as the fear of cats, sometimes also called gatophobia, because gato is cat in Spanish, but Ailuro is basically from the Greek heritage of cat, and phobos, meaning fear or dread. So Ailurophobia, fear of cats. It's actually quite common. Those people that have a fear of cats, it tends to be more often domesticated sized cats than the large man-eating cats like lions, tigers, things like that. Although it does vary from individual to individual. For many people with ailurophobia, it tends to be either inherited from a family member, such as a mother or father, perhaps auntie or grandparent. So when they were young, growing up with someone that had a fear of cats, it's almost like a learned fear for many, many people. Or it could have been a sensitizing event. Now, for children tend to have a curiosity about cats. They seek them out, they want to stroke them, play with them. Unfortunately, cats can get quite aggressive if someone invades their personal space. So what is quite frequently a sensitizing event is where you've got a child maybe of the age of 2, 3, 4 years old, and in many cases the adult can't remember this sensitizing event happening, but as a child they may have approached a cat, the cat got very protective, aggressive perhaps, and then either scratched or bit the child. And then that creates a fear reaction. It's linking an intense emotion with the stimulus of the cat. And then from that point onwards, what happens is you get a generalized fear of cats of that size, to the extent that as adults, they will cross the road rather than be on the same side as a cat. It will feel awful if a cat approaches them. And where this becomes a problem is that cats, alongside dogs, are the most popular form of pets that exist. So it wouldn't be unusual for you to visit, maybe a friend or family member, and then they have a cat. And cats quite often will seek out strangers because they do like to be stroked and petted. And that's obviously not useful if someone has an intense fear reaction from cats. The kind of reactions can vary from mild discomfort, so that the idea of being near a cat or close to a cat may actually just feel really uncomfortable. It's normally in the gut area, or it could be anxiety. So if it's a level 5 to 8, I label that anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10. So anxiety might be tightness in the chest, it might be a raised heart rate, it may be muscle tension, things like that. And for some people with a really intense fear of cats, that can even provoke panic attacks or panic reactions. And that might be, rapid breathing. It might be, essentially the sympathetic nervous system kicking in. So then you've got elevated amounts of adrenaline, cortisol, all this stuff running through the blood. And it's just a horrible, horrible experience for those people that have this kind of panic reaction. Most people cope with a fear of cats by simply avoiding cats, which is a reasonably effective strategy, but it's not a permanent strategy. The reason being is that cats are such a popular pet, particularly in Western societies. So from that perspective, quite often someone will approach me to deal with the fear of cats because perhaps a close friend or family member have now then got a cat and then they just can't visit them. So that can be a trigger, a prompt to get things resolved. Now, for some people, it's the idea of a cat potentially scratching them, biting them. For some people, it might be the idea that there are fleas or germs. Sometimes people have heard stories about cats carrying diseases such as rabies and things like that. Particularly if you go to certain countries where these diseases exist, maybe a parent has told a child, stay away from that cat because it carries rabies, or if it scratches you can get sick. So sometimes it's actually a link to disease or germs from the cat. Whatever the cause was, isn't that important. The key thing that you need to know is that a fear of cats is a relatively straightforward fear to remove. People will come to me as the Phobia Guru, and my website is phobiaguru.com. mainly because they don't want to have their fear or their phobia anymore. And I work with people in a variety of ways to get rid of their fear quickly. And the three main ways that I help people get rid of their fear is one-to-one clients. So in my actual practice in Harley Street or in Hertfordshire. So if people are based in the UK, quite often they come and see me in my clinic, and normally it takes 1 or 2 sessions and the fear is gone and it's gone for good. And we can actually test that with an animal at the end of either session 1, session 2, just to make sure the fear isn't there anymore. Okay, the second way for people that are international, so not based in the UK or not close to London, generally I work with them via streaming, such as let's say Skype or FaceTime, things like that, with a good quality microphone, good quality cameras. So it's almost as good as if I'm physically there. So that becomes a way of working with me. And the third way that people work with me tends to be my course, which over 7 days gives you so much content, so much tools to actually eliminate your fear entirely. If you do have a fear of cats, if you want to find out more information on why you have this fear, what's causing the fear, and how to eliminate the fear, you can go to phobiaguru.com and download a free video that's about an hour long, where I just go into detail as to what phobias are and the structure of phobia. It's going to make you really understand that you're not crazy, that it's not an irrational fear, that it has roots in the survival mechanisms within inside your brain, but also the different techniques that are possible to actually remove the fear and remove the fear quickly. So that's phobiaguru.com. Look forward to seeing you there. And that video, I normally price that at about £30 or about 40 US dollars. That's available entirely free. Just visit the website phobiaguru.com.